Today, we're heading to Baghdad, a city that is, quite literally, struggling to breathe. But even in the middle of all that haze, a really cool experiment is showing there might be a way out. So, let's dive in and see what's happening.
So, just how bad is it? Well, get a load of this number. Not too long ago, Baghdad was ranked as the second most air-polluted city in the entire world. I mean, that is a ranking you absolutely do not want.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? Air doesn't come with a price tag, yet polluted air may be the costliest thing we consume daily. And that's so true. We're not just talking about smog here. We're talking about real, tangible costs to people's health, to the economy, to the everyday lives of millions.
All right, so let's get into the specifics. Just how unbreathable is the air in Baghdad, really?
Okay, try to wrap your head around this. The pollution levels there? They are more than 8 times higher than what the World Health Organization says is safe. 8! We're talking about tiny, nasty particles that you breathe in, and they go deep into your lungs. They can even get into your bloodstream. It's a constant, serious risk every single day.
So you've got to ask, where is all this coming from? Well, it's not just one single thing. It's more like a perfect storm of pollutants. You've got this mix of natural causes and some very human-made problems.
So on one side, you've got nature. We're talking a huge increase in dust storms just blanketing the city. And then on the other side, you've got a man-made issue, a massive power shortage. This forces pretty much everyone to rely on thousands of diesel generators, and those things are just pumping out awful stuff into the air. Let's tackle the natural side of things first.
And I mean, this number is just wild. Between 2000 and 2022, Iraq saw a 132% increase in days with dust storms. 132%. That's a huge shift, and it means the air is constantly filled with this fine dust that makes it tough to breathe even when the sky should be clear.
Now, for the man-made part of this perfect storm is pretty straightforward. The national power grid just can't produce enough electricity. They make about 12,000 megawatts, but the country needs closer to 20,000. So what happens? You get massive, long power cuts. And that means everyone, from homes to hospitals to shops, has to find another way to get power. And to really see what this generator problem looks like on the ground, we're going to zoom in on one place. Let's take a look at the University of Technology, right in the heart of Baghdad.
So check out this map of the campus. Each one of those numbers, that's a diesel generator. The university is basically a mini version of the whole city, right? Just a ton of buildings, all struggling to stay open and running when the power goes out.
And the total number? 58. That's how many big diesel generators it takes just to keep this one campus going. 58 loud, dirty engines. A lot of them old and not well taken care of. Just running and running, burning this awful high-sulfur fuel.
So what does that do to the air right there on campus? Well, the impact is pretty shocking. Researchers took measurements, and look at this. Nitrogen dioxide, which is really bad for your lungs, was almost 6 times higher than the WHO's safety limit. And sulfur dioxide, another one you don't want to be breathing, was way up there too, just dangerously high.
And this isn't just about invisible pollution you breathe. You can hear it. The constant noise from those 58 generators was over 60 decibels. I mean, just imagine trying to study or teach with that constant drone in the background. It's not just annoying. Over time, that kind of noise can cause real health issues.
Okay, so it sounds pretty bleak, right? But right there in the middle of all that noise and pollution, a group of researchers decided to do something about it. And this is where the story starts to change. We're pivoting from the problem to a really interesting solution.
They basically asked a really simple but super important question. When you're so choked by fossil fuels, is there a cleaner way to get power?
And here's their answer. They took one building on campus, the Energy and Renewable Energies Technology Center, and they installed this solar panel system. It was a small 3.5 kilowatt system, but the goal was huge. Could they power this whole building using just the sun, with no generator at all?
And just in case you're not familiar, a photovoltaic system, or a PV system, that's just the technical term for solar panels. The magic is that they turn sunlight straight into electricity. No combustion, no emissions, no noise. It's just clean, quiet power.
And the results? They were instant and honestly, amazing. Let's start with the really dangerous stuff, those tiny little particles that get into your lungs. Inside the building, running on solar, the smallest particles dropped by over 85%. And the slightly larger ones, PM2.5, were cut by more than half. That's incredible.
And it gets even better when you look at the harmful gases. Since they weren't burning that dirty diesel fuel anymore, hydrogen sulfide and sulfur dioxide levels just plummeted. We're talking drops of over 90%. They were basically gone.
And remember that constant noise? Well, inside the solar-powered building, the background noise dropped by almost 30%. Can you just imagine the difference? Suddenly, it's a quiet, healthier place where you can actually focus and work.
So, yeah, this one little experiment was a massive success. But what does that mean for the big picture? Let's pull the camera back from this one campus and look at the whole city again.
And this right here really tells the whole story, doesn't it? On one side, you see the problem, that map just dotted with dirty generators. And on the other, you see the solution, clean, quiet solar power. This little project proved without a doubt that there is another way.
And that leaves us with one big, important question. We know the technology works. The benefits are crystal clear. So if one single building on one campus in Baghdad can figure this out, what's it going to take to power an entire city this way?